Hello and welcome back to the channel. Uh, so this is going to be a bit of a different video than I usually post on the channel. It's not about entrepreneurship. It is not a promotion for a new product. This is just me telling you what's been going on with me and where I've been for the past few weeks. If you haven't noticed, I haven't posted on the channel for over 2 weeks. I haven't sent an email for over 2 weeks, and there's a good reason for that. And I'm going to tell you all about it right after this. Before we get to that, very briefly, if you happen to stumble upon this video and you have no idea who I am, my name is Eric Hammer. I'm known as the Man in the Hat. That's because I wear a fedora pretty much everywhere that I go. I am one of the very few people who can phone successfully. Well, I'm by Neal over here. Now, again, if you are new, first of all, thank you for visiting. I'm not going to do my usual whole routine. Ordinarily, I have this whole speech that I do, and I interact with a bunch of different characters like Bart Simpson from The Simpsons, or obviously Neal Caffrey from White Collar that I just did. I also do a whole bunch of other, stuff like a lot of times I'll deal with Liz Lemon from 30 Rock, or Barry Goldberg from the Goldbergs, or a bunch of other people. I'm not going to do that. If you want to see me doing that, you can feel free to check out my other videos. This one is going to be a bit more serious. Wanted to give you an update. So if you have been wondering where I've been the past few weeks, I did not run away to some tropical island like Neal Caffrey did, although it's a really cool show. If you haven't seen White Collar, it's a great show. I think you'll love it. I've actually been in a hospital for just under 2 weeks. I was in a hospital for 12 days. And so I want to kind of tell you what's been happening, why I haven't been posting here regularly, so you kind of have an idea of what's been going on with my life, and just to keep you updated. So here's the deal. So first of all, before I actually do that, let me give you a bit of background so you understand what happened. I've been a diabetic since I was 26, and about 12 years ago, I underwent gastric bypass surgery, which absolutely dramatically changed my life. I lost 100 pounds. The diabetes went into remission for a very long time. It did come back, but it has been well controlled. I've been doing very, very well with it. I haven't even needed insulin, knock on wood, thank God. And I've been very, very, very fortunate in that regard. So anyway, so back to the story. So what happened 2 weeks ago, Thursday, I went out, had a bunch of appointments, doctor's appointment, dentist appointment, a couple other things, and came home pretty late. I was starving, and I sat down to have a little something for a very late lunch, like 4:30. And within about 20 minutes, I was starting to feel sick. I didn't even eat most of what I was supposed to be eating for lunch, and I don't want to say what it was because I thought it was food poisoning, but it had nothing to do with that. So I don't want to, disparage the name of the company. It literally had nothing to do with it. It just happened to be coincidence. But at the time, I thought it was food poisoning, and I was super sick. I was sweating. I was nauseous, and so I decided, let me go lay down. I figured it'd pass. And the entire night, I was trying to wake up and get myself back to work. So I have to write emails. I have to send out, emails. I have to, make some new videos. And I would sleep for 10 minutes, maybe, wake up and feel more tired than when I'd fallen asleep. About half the time, I could not get myself out of bed. I was just that tired. And when I did, the only thing I managed to do was to practically crawl downstairs to the kitchen and grab some ice water. And that was pretty much all I was having the entire time that I was sick, just ice water. And the next morning, I was still super sick. And I thought to myself, boy, this is some really, really bad food poisoning. I better preserve this stuff. I'm going to sue these people. And so the entire time I kept thinking it's going to pass, it's going to pass, it's going to pass. It just kept getting worse. And the other thing that happened was that my blood sugar started to spike to dangerously high levels. Now, if you're not familiar, blood sugars is just it's a in non-diabetics, the typical blood sugar ranges between about 80 to 120. For a diabetic, it also ranges about 80 to 120, but that's only if you're not eating. For diabetic, if you're eating, then it can go up to like about 200 or so, 250 if you have something very, high in carbs, or very sugary, you eat a donut or something like that. And if it's going beyond 250, then then either you ate something really, really, really bad for you, or your medication is not doing what it needs to be doing, and you need to be speaking to your doctor about switching to different medication. But if you're fasting, if all you're having is water, it shouldn't range more than about 80 to 120, because, like I said, there's no food going in. Water doesn't affect your body as far as your blood sugar. And my blood sugar spiked and stayed for the entire day over 300. Now, I happen to live in a small town. It's a beautiful, beautiful small town, about 40 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. My doctor is actually right around the corner from me. I can walk to my doctor. And I actually considered walking over to the doctor's office just to see if he happened to be in. Maybe I could see him. Usually you have to make an appointment. By the time I decided I wanted to try that, he was already closed for the day. And the nearest urgent care center is about a 20-minute drive. And I didn't feel like I didn't think I would be able to drive. And I was debating what to do. I kept saying he's going to pass. And finally I said, you know what? Something is way off. So I finally called 911. And by the time paramedics took me away, they weren't sure I was going to make it. As I said, my sugar was sky high. My blood pressure was almost non-existent. I was severely dehydrated. And when they got me to the hospital, they did a bunch of exams. They did a CT scan. And I was diagnosed with two things. First of all, I had what's called diabetic ketoacidosis, which is kind of weird. It basically, from what I understand, I've never had it before. Some or other, when a diabetic can't handle anything, the body starts producing ketones, and if it produces only ketones, that can be fatal. It's kind of a poison for the body. I mean, I know what ketones are just because I heard a low-carb diet once, which does help. Ketogenic diet, like your body producing ketones, but I guess not quite the same level or something like that. I'm not really sure what it is. The other thing was I was diagnosed with something called a herniated bowel. Now, apparently, herniated bowel is a possible complication from gastric bypass surgery. It can happen for any reason at any time. The bowel basically kind of slips out of place, and if it's caught early, it's no big deal. They can kind of like poke it back into place, so to speak. That's what I was told anyway. But there's really no real warning signs for it. They said sometimes people have mild cramps or something, or I didn't really feel anything. There was nothing that was out of the ordinary as far as I was concerned that would have made me suspect anything was wrong. And by the time they got me into the hospital, they said almost my entire bowel was necrotic, which means that it was dying, dead rather, and had to be removed. They did emergency surgery on me that Saturday morning, and the doctor, before he performed the surgery, told me, look, there's a 50-50 chance that there's going to be complications. And, of course, that means there's a good chance I wasn't going to wake up from the surgery. Now, I did wake up in the ICU. I did suffer some complications, but the doctors are very, very optimistic about things. They say that I'm doing very, very well. that I seem to be responding well. It just took a little longer for my body to kind of get all the connections going that it needs to have, which is why it was such a long hospital stay, 12 days. I was in the hospital in total, until I was finally released last night. And so, yeah, by the way, I do want to say a shout out to the nurses, the doctors, the nurses, the staff at West Penn Hospital in Pittsburgh. Some of the kindest, nicest people you could ever hope to meet. I mean, they really went out of their way to help me to feel better, do everything they could to get me back on track, to get me to feel okay. And I am forever grateful to all of them. And it wasn't just, doctors and nurses, it was all the staff. I mean, at one point there was an issue with the food service. They didn't send up the right food. And the janitorial lady was there cleaning my room, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to call down there. I'm going to make sure it's taken care of for you. I know all the people down there. I'm going to get this taken care of for you." And it was like just the sweetest thing, that she. I mean, this is not her job, and just really, really made the effort to help me out. I also wanted to give a shout out to all the people who emailed me while I was gone, asking where I've been, and that tells me that I'm making an impact, that what I do here helps you. And that's ultimately my goal, is to help you to succeed. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody who reached out. And thank you to every one of you, my loyal subscribers on the channel and on my emails. I truly, truly can't do this without you. And I am so very grateful to every single one of you. Starting tomorrow, I will be putting up regular videos like I usually do. I am still in recovery, very much so. I still have follow-ups scheduled with the doctor to make sure that everything's progressing the way it needs to be progressing. But I am so grateful to everybody that helped me, and to everybody here on my channel and on my email list. Really, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a member of the tribe. And I hope to repay that by giving you the best products and the best bonuses you could possibly imagine. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.